Hello and welcome to MiniMapNews. My name is Jeremy and this is a pilot episode of something I've wanted to put together for a while now. I'm honestly not too sure how this is going to go. It's not something I've ever done before, so if you have any feedback, please share it in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. Starting off with the biggest news coming out of today, we finally have our first leaked look at FromSoft and George R.R. Martin's baby, Elden Ring. This was first reported on by Andy Robinson over at VGC last night, who said that the trailer was being, quote, actively circulated in online chat groups. Jason Schreier from Bloomberg then took to Twitter to corroborate the story. Hours later, the footage leaked onto social media. The footage shows off many different locations, horse riding combat, large dragons, and the melee magic focused combat familiar to fans of Soulsborne games. Something to note about the footage, the words Bandai Namco Confidential are watermarked across the entire thing. That's pretty common practice amongst things that are under NDA, and this most certainly is, but just yesterday, in the time between the leak being reported on and the footage actually leaking online, a trademark for Bandai Namco Next was filed in Europe. As reported by Dom Papayat over at VG247, this could be the name of Bandai Namco's State of Play or Nintendo Direct style of presentation. Dom also mentions that while Bandai Namco hasn't announced anything in regards to any live shows or events, the Elden Ring publisher is set to have a pretty large 2021, with games like Guilty Gear Strive and Digimon Survive both being due to arrive this year. Elden Ring was first announced in 2019 and currently has no release date. Next up, nice and early Saturday morning, the Pokemon Company announced two new entries into the long-running series. First up, the forever rumoured Gen 4 remakes have finally been announced in the form of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The Diamond and Pearl remakes are using a new art style to Pokemon, with the games adopting a 3D representation of the 2D games. They're also being developed by ILCA, a studio with credits in Pokemon Home, Nier Automata, Dragon Quest XI, and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. The original game's director Junichi Masuda has also joined the project as one of its directors. The other Pokemon entry announced in the presentation is called Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's right, Arceus, not Arceus, which was described as a new approach to the Pokemon series. The game is placed in the Sinnoh region, the same location as Diamond and Pearl, but set many years in the past before trainers in Pokemon leagues. Instead, in this game, you'll be creating the first Sinnoh Pokédex. This new style of game is being developed by Game Freak, the developers of the mainline Pokemon games, but this is unlike anything we've seen from them in the past, with many people online drawing comparisons to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are due to come out in late 2021, while Pokemon Legends Arceus will be following in early 2022. Sony also premiered their PlayStation State of Play Friday morning, and following in the footsteps of the most recent Nintendo Direct, it was a little disappointing. Let's get into what was shown. Starting with maybe the biggest announcement of the show, Final Fantasy VII Remake is getting a PS5 version as well as additional DLC. The hilariously named Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is last year's Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PS5. It features a 60 FPS mode, improved lighting and fog, drastically reduced loading times, and a few other quality of life changes. There will also be a free upgrade to this version if you already own it on the PS4 for the people who have a PS5. Additionally to that, a new DLC has been announced for the PS5 version of the game, a new episode featuring the Great Ninja Yuffie. This DLC will not be coming to the PS4 version of the game. It also looks like they're going to be roping in story beats from Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII, a third-person shooter game from Monolith, the creators of Xenoblade, which served as a sequel to the original Final Fantasy VII way back in 2006. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming to PS5 on June 10th. Following that, two more Final Fantasy VII games were announced after the State of Play. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which is a mobile version of Final Fantasy VII and its accompanying side stories that borrows art styles of both the remake and the original game, and Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier, a battle royale game set 30 years prior to Final Fantasy VII, and it's a third-person shooter. Yeah, fuck it, sure, why not? The only new game announced in Thursday's presentation was the latest game from Slow Clap Games. Sifu is a third-person kung fu action game where you take revenge on the gangs that killed your family in the past. Slow Clap Games are the creators of Absolver, another martial arts-focused action game, so this seems like a natural progression for the studio. Slow Clap also has Sifu listed on the Epic Game Store, so we know it's at least coming to PS5 and PC. Sifu is due to come out sometime in 2021. Another trailer for Returnal was also shown, featuring a detailed gameplay breakdown. Returnal is a fast-paced third-person roguelike where an astronaut, Celine, travels through a shape-shifting planet and uncovers a story through her memories. This is a big fancy way of saying it's a story-driven roguelike, and it looks great. The combat looks fast and punchy, which is what Housemarque is known for with games like Resogun and Matterfall. The game also features first-person exploration segments where, presumably, the majority of the story will be told. These sections give off a Silent Hill Control sort of PT vibe. Returnal is slated to release on April 30th. Following that, a bunch of gameplay trailers were also shown. Those games were Kena Bridge of Spirits, the third-person action-adventure puzzle game where you use your power of spirits to bring balance to your village, Deathloop, the ultra-stylish Microsoft-owned Bethesda-produced Arcane-developed action first-person shooter coming exclusively to PS5, Solar Ash, a third-person action-adventure game from the developers of Hyper Light Drifter with a striking art style and high-speed traversal, and finally Oddworld Soulstorm, a self-described 2.9D puzzle platformer which is actually a reimagining of Oddworld Abe's Exodus. Honestly, all 4 of these trailers are really quite good, with large portions of them dedicated to showing off the worlds those games are portraying, as well as gameplay segments and set pieces, which give a good sense of what they're going to be like to play. And finally, we got a quick look at the new Five Nights at Freddy's game Security Breach, Knockout City, and a breakdown of the PS5 version of Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. And that's the news for the week of March 2nd, 2021. If you enjoyed this video or you have any feedback, please make sure to leave a comment down below and check out minimap.com.au for all the other work that we do. Also make sure to chuck us a follow on Twitter at minimapau. Thanks for watching.